in crisis times or emergency times, the president has tremendous power, tremendous executive power to act for the good of the nation. And people have said over this last week, oh, President Trump is crazy. That ought to be the 25th Amendment. He's tweeting out all this crazy stuff. You see the signal and the noise. That's the noise. The signal is one of stability and saying, hey, I'm a rock, right? Every administration, every president of both political parties, this doesn't mean Democrat or Republican, have folded. When it came into the spotlight with the Chinese, they folded and let the Chinese do what they want to do. And that's why we're in this situation. And that's why Donald Trump is taking that mantle. And he's not about to back down. I think you're seeing now his greatness. I think you're seeing his rise to greatness as a president.
So why have all these past presidents folded, as you describe?
Well, it's very simple. It's the same pressure that's on President Trump. It's the IR department and the lobbyists. What they folded because Wall Street and the corporations. They always fold for the same reason. They fold because the corporate interests come to them and say, oh, we can't do it. Think about Trump's trade negotiations. The biggest grief he's gotten is from the Republican Party. These guys say, oh, we're all for free trade, Well, he's sitting there going, hey, I'm for free trade too. That's not what we have right now. We have a totalitarian, mercantilist system that we've allowed to kind of metastasize. That's what I'm against. The reason every administrator is folded is because of money and power. And you've seen, and it's not that people were bad people. They folded because they were always told, here's the lie they were told, and what the elites in this country believed. If you see from the time we brought the Chinese in to the World Trade Organization and gave them most favored nation status, that as China became materialistically wealthier, as they started to develop a middle class, they would become more a free market and a democracy with rule of law, and they would become more open and a real citizen of the world.
Right.
And we've seen the exact opposite. In the last 20 years, the CCP has become more radical. They become more dangerous. They become more corrupt. They become more gangster-like. And why is that? Because they have a totalitarian system they run for their own 12 or 15 families that essentially skims the money off the top and then tries to money launder it into the West and to buy real estate in New York City or the City of London. You go to Belgravia, you go to the West End of London, a lot of that is Chinese money. Chinese money not from the Chinese people, not from the hard-working old 100 names that breaks his back every day in a factory for $1 a day. That's from the elites in the Chinese Communist Party that have skimmed the money off the top of the slave labor of China, money laundered it through banks and investment banks, and bought real estate and hard assets in the West. People know what's going on. This is why the elites have no moral authority. Let's go back in time to the third week of January of 2017. There are two speeches that take place that week. On Wednesday, you have President Xi goes to Davos, in front of Davos man, right? All the top consultants and law firms, accounting firms, banks, investment banks, hedge funds, the elite of the elite in this elite Swiss ski resort, right? They're all there, and he comes and gives a speech on globalization and the Financial Times and the economy. He's on the cover, and he's Davos man. He talks about globalization. He says, we're the future. We're running this project, and it's making money for everybody. And everybody, he is lauded. He's given a conquering hero's welcome. 2 days later, Donald Trump gives what's called the American Carnage speech. But what that speech did is very systematically go through what we call the Westphalian system and say, hey, the basic unit of freedom and governance is the nation state, and citizens that can hold politicians accountable within that nation state. Within those 3 days, you had the juxtaposition of the globalization project as seen by the CCP and cheered on by Davos, and you had the Westphalian system of the nation state, where here is what the tragedy and the crime is. Remember, all those guys in Davos, those men and women, they all deal in one thing, information, right? In the movement of symbols, right? Whether that's in investment banking or in marketing, accounting, law, etc. They're the smartest from the best schools in the world. They know everything throughout the world. That's why they're there. That's why they're the smartest guys in the room. The party at Davos knows everything, right? That's why they're Davos man. They know about the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan Buddhists. They know about the Uyghurs. They know about Falun Gong. They know about the underground Christian church and Catholic church. They know about the live harvest or the organ harvesting. They know all of it, and they don't care. When they see Xi, they see a hero. Why? It means more money. It means higher stock prices. It means lower slave labor, right? They have no moral authority. They have totally bought into a system that's completely corrupt, and they know all about it. And they're prepared to look the other way and mock a Donald Trump and say, oh, he's the barbarian. He's the wild man. He's the disruptor to the system. When they are the ones that have gone on, the blood and the guilt is on their hands. Everybody that lodged Xi, everybody that's dined Wang Shan, they're going to be held accountable by history for what went on in this time and place, what went on in China, and what they knew about and looked the other way.
So you're kind of suggesting there's going to be a reckoning.
There's a reckoning, and there's a reckoning happening now. As people, that's one of the things about this Huawei movie. As common citizens start to learn more, they know something hasn't been quite right. As they start to get more information, as things like the Epoch Times continues to report and is indefatigable and won't be turned off and continues to report the truth. As other mainstream media is now, everybody's covering China. It's the big story, right? 2 years ago when Donald Trump took office, it wasn't the big story. This was Donald Trump's action that made it the big story. As we peel away layer by layer,